Hey there, thanks for joining today. We are going to be looking at our best applicant tracking systems for small businesses, and I'll be doing a quick walkthrough of some of my favorite ones that I recommend checking out. Now, before we dive into the details, it's important to remember that as a growing or a small business, you can make use of an ATS for multiple functions around HR. This does include recruitment, of course, but an ATS can help you manage the burden of hundreds of job applications and job listings themselves. Now, it is important to remember why we use an ATS, why I'd recommend using an ATS. So, in terms of reducing overheads of managing multiple job listings, a lot of these tools can help automate that for you. You're also able to create clones or create duplicates of a lot of job listings on multiple ATSs. Therefore, you're not going to have to do this manually every single time, hopefully with the right ATS. Now, you'll also be able to manage your documentation, which is becoming more and more important with regards to data and information protection. So, I'd highly recommend using a tool like this to help centralize your candidate information and documentation. Now, as mentioned, the administrative burden of shortlisting candidates can be really time consuming. I know I've been there, I've done this, and it can be a real chore. So, using a tool like a really great ATS can help you shortlist candidates within minutes and help you auto respond and manage your responses to candidates as well, which is really super helpful. Alongside that, you do want to have a look at trends, reporting, and any information that comes into the system. Without the use of a system, this becomes really hard to manage, and again, a real nightmare in terms of administration. Now, there are specific features that I'd recommend looking for in an ATS. I've worked on many, and I can tell you that they are not all created equally. So, some of my top tips would be to recommend is to look at short learning curves and ease of use. That is number one. You don't want to spend a lot of time getting to grips with the system. You want to just be able to figure it out. You want it to be intuitive and user friendly. Also, if you're a small team or a small business, you don't have time to spend weeks on training on systems that are clunky and hard to use. So make sure that you find one that is easy to use and has a short learning curve. Now, I do recommend looking for those that have built-in communication features with candidates. So this could be auto-responding to candidates, sending in-app communications like emails to respond to candidates to let them know of the status of their applications. Super useful, super helpful. And again, you want to keep all your information centralized within a system. Again, you do want application management features. This is hugely important. And one of the most important features would be job board syndication. Now, if you are a small business that does need to advertise to various job boards, what I'd recommend is looking for those that do the integration for you and also include this in their pricing. Hugely important because it can become really expensive really quickly if you need to do this manually yourself. Now, another huge plus is to have a branded career page. Many of these ATSs do provide that, a lot of them don't. So I'd highly recommend looking at a really great branded career page as part of an ATS that you're looking at. Now, just remember affordable pricing plans are not the standard. So many ATSs have multiple functions and features, and these can come at quite a cost. Now, as a small business, you may not need the Rolls Royce of features, so just pick those ATSs that make sense for your business and that have the features that you're looking for. All right, we're going to do a quick walkthrough and a dive into some of my favorite ATSs that I'd recommend looking at. Now, there are some that we're not going to be looking at today. One of those is Zoho Recruit. Really great, small for small businesses. Pricing plans are really reasonable. Start around about $25 per user per month. Super easy to use. They do have things like video interviews, and you can make use of add-on apps for sales and marketing, and that is included in their Zoho add-ons, like Zoho Books, for example. Um, Another one I'd recommend looking at is Greenhouse. Now, I find this really easy to set up. It's really customizable and has a lot of features. Now, technically, they are a better fit for large organizations, but it's a good option to consider if you're needing comprehensive platforms that may be able to scale as your company does. They do have a lot of features within their toolbox. So as mentioned, they've got AI recruiting, of course, talent sourcing, workflows, which are scalable, which I do quite like within that, and of course, interviewing and multiple features and reporting. Um, Again, one of the larger, more well-known platforms out there. Um, Greenhouse is really popular, but of course it comes at quite a price. Now, that is one of the things that I do recommend looking at if you are a larger organization. However, it can become really expensive quickly for small organizations, as their pricing starts around about $6,500 a year for really small companies of 1 to 10 employees. But the pricing is not transparent and it is customizable depending on your business size. So if you are interested, I would recommend requesting a demo with them, as their pricing plans and structures change for different size organizations and needs. But they are on the more expensive side. Now, another one of the ATSs I'd recommend looking at is Ashby. It is quickly becoming quite popular. Now, they do have different pricing plans, as you can see here, for startups, for growth, for enterprise, and they've got a lot of features within their tool belt. So we'll just have a quick look at the first one here. Now, they are one of the newer kids on the block, but I do think it's going to become one of the more popular ones to use. I've been seeing a lot of this being mentioned, and it's just because they've got really great features. They've got powerful automation. They do have dashboards and analytics, which I quite like. You can build talent pipelines, of course. They do have built-in scheduling, which I really like as well. It's one of the really cool features with Ashby. And as mentioned, you do want to keep this kind of information all within a system, so it is centralized. You've got your communications, your information, your candidates' workflow set up, and they do have quite a nice interface, which I quite like as well. In terms of a great value add, again, they do actually have automated candidate scheduling, which is quite cool. So one of those ones that has strong calendar integrations. Not all of them do, so if this is something that's important for you, I'd recommend looking at that. And here we can see they've got two-way sync between Gmail and Google Calendar. They also allow you to receive notifications via Slack, which is quite cool. Another one of the good value adds is they've got quite a strong reporting suite here. You can see monthly hires, multiple stages, and a lot of other important information. So if reporting is important for you, I'd recommend giving them a look. Really, really great. Now, there are a few downsides to Ashby. I think they will probably be ironed out as they go and as they grow. Um, so they don't yet allow scorecards, making extracting information a little bit hard. And it's also quite hard to search on the platform because the built-in search features are not that user-friendly. However, I hope that this changes in the future. And yeah, and they iron out some of those things like that. Now, in terms of pricing, their pricing starts at around about $300 monthly for companies of 1 to 10 employees, and they do offer a discounted rate for annual commitment. So with things like custom pricing plans, you could look at that if you're a large organization. So here we get around about a quick overview of that, and of course custom pricing plans. So they could be a little bit more affordable if you are a small organization. You do need something that is able to stay within your budget as you grow. This might not be the best fit for you. However, it is worth having a look at. Cool, let's have a look at our next one. Now, Workable is one of my favorite tools to use. As you can see, I'm on the free plan here. I'm trialing out this version. I have used it in the past. I really like it. Now, they've got extensive integration capabilities with over 200 job boards, which is really impressive. As mentioned, that's one of the big pluses. You do want a tool that has job board integration and has a user-friendly interface. So here we could see at a glance my job adverts that I had created. You'll also be able to see your candidate information at a glance. Now, what I quite like is that they do allow you to make use of their import data feature, which is just test data, so that you can have a look in terms of what you can do within the system without needing to create everything from scratch yourself. I really like that, super easy. And here we can see that you can do candidate searching. So as mentioned, at a glance, you'll be able to tag information. So let's have a quick look here. And we can see specific information at a glance that might be important to surface so that you don't have to go digging through all the information to find your candidate info. Now, another standout feature that I quite like is that they do have multi-language capability. So you can translate your job posts and applications into more than 6 languages currently, which is really great. So if you are a global team and you do need something that is able to cater for global teams, this is possibly a good tool to look at, which is really great. Now you can make use of the AI tools as well. They do have candidate matching suggestions, which is great. And then, of course, if you need to manage things like time off, that is something that is built into the tool, which I quite like. So not all of the ATSs I've looked at have advanced features like this. This speaks more to HRIS or HR information systems, and they can also help you manage onboarding and performance. So again, really great, but maybe overkill for a small business or a startup possibly, especially if you don't have that many employees and you don't need such advanced features. Now, in terms of pricing, again, a little bit more on the expensive side, starting around about $250 a month for businesses with 1 to 20 employees. A lot of the add-ons are paid for, so you would need to just be careful in terms of pricing if that is something that makes sense for your organization. But overall, I really like the tool. I think it's really, really well thought out. I like the layout. I like the features. Um, but just keep in mind that the paid for plans and lower tiers are pretty limited, um, as are the customization options. So that's something I did find a little bit limiting. Um, and then just a note as well, you do want a platform that has great customer service, especially if you're a small business and you do need that support. You do want to make sure that you've got really great customer support. I find that theirs is a little bit lacking. Hopefully, that's something that improves in the future as well. Great, let's have a look at our next ATS here. Now, Ninja Gig is one of those that took just seconds to set up. It was honestly so easy. I like it. Super simple. And this is probably one of the best fits for small organizations, startup companies, and honestly, even recruitment agencies. Um, Really super simple, easy to use, easy to set up. And I quite like that they've got this quick nav bar, super easy. They've also built out some really nice dashboards in recent times, which I quite enjoy. And these are actually clickable. So, I mean, if we wanted to go and see the candidate that I have in my personal assistant job, I would simply just click on that and I'd be taken to all my received applications. So it's just really easy to use. They've got a really wide range of features. Now, in terms of job openings, this is no different. You are able to create jobs, you're able to edit them, you're able to reuse them, which I quite like, especially where you've got a lot of, I'm going to say, jobs that you are repeating on a monthly basis. And you don't want to have to go and create these job boards manually every single time. So make use of their tools that allow you to create multiple job posts, save them, and then publish them when you're ready to advertise. They do give a lot of guidance here in terms of success in your job posting, especially to job boards. And this is because they integrate with a lot of job boards. So here we go. We can see I'd like this to be published to job boards, yes or no. And you do want to enable and show it online, for example, you'll be able to sync this with multiple job boards like Indeed. So all the big ones, the big popular ones like Indeed or Recruiter, Google Jobs, Monster. There's quite a lot more that they do integrate with as well. Um, and then fill in your information here with regards to your job posting, which I really like. So super simple. They give you a lot of options here. They've also pre-created generic sort of application things that you would want to include. You can also exclude that, which I quite like. And one of my favorite features is their application question uh, library that they do have. So you are able to create global custom queues or questions that you can reuse at any time for multiple job adverts. So this is especially useful when you need to filter applications. If you've got a lot of high volume recruitment, this is really important that you make use of this so that you can see the candidates that are best fit for the job quick as possible without having to sift through every single application. Um, so overall, really simple, really easy to use. They do have some additional tools which I quite like. Um, they've gone a little bit further to think of some things that may be useful for you. You can create a job flyer. So I'm going to show you what this might look like, where you've got a QR code as part of that, which I quite like. And your job flyer will create a QR code with the job listing for it that takes you straight to your branded career site. So again, one of the huge pluses that I quite like with this is that on NinjaGig you are given a custom branded career site that you can go and add your logo and put in some information about your organization. And if you have any active applications or jobs, you would then be able to have this information surfaced on your job board at any time, which I quite like. So super useful, super easy to use the platform. They've got a lot of other really great features, which we're not going to dive into now. However, I would recommend checking them out. One of the biggest pluses is that they are probably the most affordable ATS I've come across. Um, so their plans start at $49 a month, and this includes unlimited job postings with no hidden fees. So making it one of the best, if not the best priced ATSs out there because you are able to syndicate to so many job boards and of course then advertise to all these different job boards for free, which I really like. So as a small organization that may be cost conscious, this is really good fit and I'd highly recommend checking it out. Hopefully this gave you some insight and some ideas to have a look at if you're looking at your ATS for your small or growing organization. And hopefully this helps narrow it down for you. Thanks for watching.